Hi guys, it's Lisa Dawn from Because Philly is Love, and for today's Small Business Spotlight, I'm here with Nina Grier, who's an artisan. So, first question I ask is, talk a little bit about your journey, a little background, how you started to create crafted art and jewelry.
Well, first, thank you so much, Lisa, for interviewing me and taking the time to allow me to share my story.
Absolutely.
What I do is I take history and I take art and I bring it together such that I create wearable art in the form of jewelry, apparel like t-shirts, tote bags.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we even have beach towels. I've done upholstered pillows,
Nice.
as well as upholstered chairs and furniture pieces.
Nice. And Historical Dream, great name. Talk a little bit about how you came up with that as a moniker. You're combining history and...
Exactly. I was thinking about making sure that whatever we're going to say about my artisan craft here is going to be relevant to history, and then everyone should have the dream to create anything they can think of that celebrates history.
Yes.
So it's really about my dream, my collaboration between history and art, and bringing it all together to realize an opportunity where I can make a difference. Making a difference to whomever, wherever, however, to elevate the awareness of sun and unsung heroes.
And a little bit about those unsung heroes. Like we know of Harriet Tubman, and we know of the ones that obviously are part of history, but you also expand that.
Well, the other thing is that not everybody knows about Octavius Cato. Although he's now a statue in front of the City Hall, but he was a philanthropist and educator. He was not a slave, so he was of the 18th century. So that's an unsung hero.
Yes.
Believe it or not, Elizabeth Keckley, who was Mary Todd Lincoln's dressmaker and confidant. She was a slave. She was able to buy her freedom with the help of her friends. She started her own business in Washington, D.C. as a seamstress. And she was actually making items for the politicians' wives, who introduced her to Mary Todd Lincoln. So who's talking about Elizabeth Keckley?
Right.
Not very many people. She's an unsung hero. And then you have Richard Allen, of course.
Right.
And then you have Absalom Jones.
Absolutely.
You know, you do have, and then you have Kamala Harris.
Right. More modern.
More modern, exactly. And we have Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You know, so these are people who've made a major impact on our world in the United States today, in the past and in the future. And so we want to pay homage to that.
Yes.
And I represent that in all that I do.
Yes, in art. And history matters, guys. It's important for us to know where we come from so we can move forward. And what you're doing here, Nina, in terms of bridging that gap and creating art that represents our history is so important.
And as well, there are different generations who might not know about our unsung heroes.
Yes.
So, you know, we at a certain age range might be very well informed.
Right.
But we don't want to rely on just the educational system of the public schools.
Right.
You know, we don't want to just have others dictate who should be our icons.
Exactly.
You know, so we're putting forth the ideas and the history around these images, these trailblazers that have fundamentally made a difference in this country.
And just keeping them at the forefront of everything that we do, and representation matters, history matters. So, 1619.
Oh yeah, so 1619, based on the 1619 project. Yes, and so I was so enamored with the information that Nicole
Hannah
Brown led this initiative with the New York Times. And so I said, my goodness, when I talk about we should not forget, 1619, the year when, you know, about that time, the first slave ships hit the shores of the Carolinas and kind of brought in these kidnapped people and were persecuted and enslaved for, you know, a couple of hundred years. You know, wait a second, they're the people, our people, who really helped to bring and make the United States as powerful and as prosperous as it has been. We are a superpower. And because of the free labor for over 200 years, you know, when cotton was king, you know, it was our people out there who were basically making things happen. You know, they of course went through atrocities, but let's not forget the impact they made to make this country the powerful country that it is.
And to build this country to be as clear
yeah,
as we can.
To build the commerce, Wall
the
Street,
economy.
the economy, very much so, cannot be forgotten.
And one correction, I said Nicole Hannah Brown. I actually meant Nicole Hannah Jones. I want to give that correction out there, representation. She worked on the 1619 project. If you haven't seen her book, go get her book. Very important for us to understand our history. So I'm happy that you're doing wearable art.
Yes.
One question, okay, I have one question for you. What sort of advice that would you give entrepreneurs who are trying to start a new business or in business and, you know, they may have a little bit of a blocker? Like, what advice would you give them?
My biggest advice is, as an entrepreneur, yes, you have your business plan, but you have to be agile. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, okay? You need to be nimble because you may set out with a fixed idea of how things are going to go, but then when you get out there in the market, you're going to learn some things about your target audience.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to make sure your price points are right. You have to make sure you're delivering the right product to the right audience.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you got to switch your gears in order to make sure that you are getting a profitable, you're getting a margin that's profitable to you.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, you want to bring forth your creative idea, your entrepreneurial idea, whatever it might be, but it should measure against profitability.
Yes.
So one of the things I've learned is that I love art, I love history, I can come up with a million icons, but that doesn't mean everybody's interested in purchasing them. And with my situation, you know, a lot more education around these unsung heroes would help all of us.
Yes.
So I learned through the market which were the ones that were resonating with the most people. And so I too had to be nimble, yes.
Okay, and I think that's so important because I think when we look at our passion and we start our business plan, we're so focused on what we want to drive, but you really have to take into consideration these other factors, know what the market wants, and be able to pivot and be able to be flexible. So that's really good, important. Don't stop, don't give up. It is hard. It is a lot of work, and make sure you have a strong team around you, making sure you have people that are keeping you motivated.
Yes.
That definitely it's important for you to like be flexible and don't give up. So one question, Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Oh, she's a hero. She's my hero right now.
Right?
She's gone through a lot, but she is obviously over the top of qualifications.
Yes.
And she's an excellent selection, you know, unbiased, will do what she's supposed to do to make this country the way, you know, move forward the way it needs to be. So I just think she is our current day hero.
Yes, she is.
And we should all just support her with love.
I agree. I wanted to, the reason I asked is I was wondering, any KBJ jewelry? I know there's a lot that has to go into it, but is it on the horizon?
You know, there's always copyright issues which I have to work with and deal with, but I would love to have her as an icon, as one of the ones in my portfolio, because she just resonates class,
Yes.
power, competency, and patience.
And patience. So where can people find your jewelry?
So you go to historicaldream.com, that's my website. You can also go, I have a handle for Historical Dream, at Historical Dream for Instagram. You can always follow me on Facebook, which is Historical Dream as well. So the common denominator is you put Historical Dream, and that's singular, Historical Dream, you know, in the search engine, you will find me.
And one other quick question, partnerships, where else Joan Shep?
Yeah, so Joan Shep is a boutique clothing store with jewelries and other accessories on 18th and Chestnut. As for Tuesday Gordon, because I have a 1619 collection there. So you can go and purchase a nice necklace,
A bracelet.
many things that I've created, but it's the 1619 collection. So I absolutely welcome you to go there and check out what we have.
So Nina Grier, guys, I'm so happy to be able to spotlight her on Because Philly is Love. Follow her at Historical Dream, singular. You can find her collection of 1619 jewelry at the Joan Shep boutique.
On 18th and Chestnut.
18th and Chestnut, downtown Center City. So I'm so happy that you were able to connect and do this. Thank you so much.
Yay!